Fox 8 anchor Liz Reyes shares her personal story about her battle with thyroid cancer.
She explains why doctors say many local women may not know they have the condition.
At age 39, Jennifer Lovisa Pritchett is in the prime of her life. Her family is her world, her husband Paul and their kids, 10-year-old Caleb, 5-year-old Toby, and 8-year-old Kayla.
Happy birthday to you!
It's family celebrations like this that brings her great joy. But recently, her world shattered when she received a devastating phone call from her doctor in July. She tested positive for thyroid cancer.
My heart just dropped. I didn't know nothing about it. I didn't know nothing about the type of cancer. All you can think about is your kids, your husband, your family. What would they do without me?
It's a cancer doctors say mostly occurs in women at a much higher rate than men, teens, or children. The thyroid is a butterfly-shaped gland in the front part of the neck. It has a left and a right lobe. It produces hormones that regulate functions like a person's heart rate, blood pressure, and metabolism. But when thyroid cells start to grow out of control, they can trigger thyroid cancers. As for why it shows up mostly in women, some medical researchers say it's due to the female hormone estrogen. But some other researchers say there is still no clear answer.
I feel like it's almost like a death sentence. Even though deep down it's not always that.
This year, the American Cancer Society says doctors will diagnose an estimated 44,000 Americans with thyroid cancer. The majority of them women, close to 32,000. In many cases, patients like Pritchett say they had no early symptoms and no family history. Pritchett says the lump on her neck tested negative for cancer 8 years ago. It's partially why she says she never did follow-up tests until this year.
I was thinking it was all going to be good.
Over those years, she says the nodule became cancerous and attached to her vocal cord, so her surgeon removed her entire thyroid to reduce the risk of spreading.
So they got it out, but then they had to scrape my vocal cord to try and get as much off as they could, but cells still remained on there. And it messed up my voice for a couple months.
She has one treatment left to kill the remaining cancer cells. She knows it could have been worse if she had delayed her doctor's visit.
Good afternoon, I'm Meg Gatto.
And I'm Liz Reyes.
I, too, personally learned the importance of following up on tests. I have no family history of thyroid cancer. I also had no symptoms, but my doctor wanted to check a suspicious swollen area on my neck. I was at work in August when I got a call from my doctor.
It happened shortly before I arrived here in studio to do our noon newscast. My doctor told me my biopsy had tested positive for thyroid cancer. It is a sort of news that just shakes you to the core when you hear the word cancer, and to this day, I still don't know how I did the newscast that day. But later I would be so grateful that the cancer was caught early.
That's because the discovery of the thyroid cancer led to other medical exams, which detected a separate medical problem, inflammation on the nerve connected to my vocal cord. This was me shortly after my surgery to remove the cancerous part of my thyroid. The surgical team successfully removed the left thyroid lobe and treated the inflammation of my vocal cord. But the road to recovery was rough. I lost my voice for several weeks. It's still healing. So is my surgical scar.
You can feel the thyroid gland move up and down.
Local surgeon and ear, nose, and throat specialist Dr. Grayson Gremion says if thyroid cancer is not detected early, it can stop your vocal cord from working. Also,
You can feel strangled if they get real big, feel like you can't swallow or can't have trouble breathing.
he urges everyone, especially women, to make sure they get their necks examined for potential cancerous nodules at least once a year with their primary physician or gynecologist.
You'll feel from the front, but then really you'll feel from the back a lot of times if it's not a palpable lesion. And as people swallow, you can feel the gland move up and down with the swallowing, and you can kind of notice some little irregularities in the gland.
Surgeon Dr. Michael DeSalvo says most of the diagnosed forms are now treatable with surgery, even when they spread in the neck, especially the most common diagnosed form in women called papillary. That is a form that myself and Pritchett had.
95% of those patients still running around to this day. So yes, very preventable disease.
As for the scar left behind from the incision to remove the cancer, Dr. DeSalvo says there are many creams and gels to make them less noticeable.
We generally try to find a skin crease to put it in. From a cosmesis standpoint, it's excellent.
I feel like that scar was my symbol of I beat this, you know, so for it being there, I'm kind of proud of it.
That scar is also a symbol of Pritchett's second chance at life for her and her loved ones, like her mother.
She's going to make it and she's going to be fine, and that we'll have a long life and raise her kids and have a happy home.
It's a daily reminder for women too. Don't take your health for granted.
Physicians also warned while mostly women are impacted with this, they want men, teens, and children to get their neck examined during their doctor's visits too for early signs of thyroid cancer.
Liz, I know this was a difficult battle for you. Why did you decide to share this with our viewers?
I think it's because of what I found out. I didn't realize that so many more women were impacted with this. I myself hadn't known symptoms. I didn't really know anything about thyroid cancer. So I'm really hoping it gets the message out. I really want people to be aware because it can really spread, and like you can see, my voice is still healing. And in some cases, there are some forms that are not treatable. So getting it early is the most important
and
thing.
that's the thing. Hopefully this will spur somebody who's watching to go
Exactly.
get that doctor's.
Exactly. Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you for courageously telling your story.
Thank you.
We
Thanks, guys.
appreciate it.